All right, let's lay on our back. So why don't we just start with constructive rest first? So lay on. I'm so good with that. I would do it just laying flat down. And then what you want to do is just open your arms up to the side and bend your knees, walk them in towards your butt. And then you're just going to drop the knees over to one side and let them hang there just for a little bit. And then you just start to breathe as you move the legs over to the other side. Let them hang out there for a little bit. And just notice if you're breathing in your chest or are you breathing in your belly. Try to see if you can breathe in both areas. Now start to move the legs from side to side. So you're just slowly lifting them up, release them over, then slowly lift them up, reach them over, slowly reach them up. Good, and then just see if you can start to move your head the opposite way. So as the knees come up, the head goes to center, and then the chin over the other side. Head goes the opposite way. Keep moving through that. Why you look comfy. Good, and then once you've done that a few times, let's just leave the knees to one side, the head over to the opposite side. And then the arm that the knees have gone over to, so if my knees have gone to the left, I'm going to take my left arm, lift it up over my head, and then stretch the opposite direction. So just a side reach. Just try not to trigger everything in your neck. Take a nice deep breath, exhale. Just settle into the stretch. All right, let's bring that arm back down into that T position. Bring the head back to center. Pick up your top knee, then pick up your bottom knee and let them go over to the second side. Wiggle your feet around till the knees can lie as flat as possible. Let go of the glutes, let go of the low belly, and then lift the opposite arm up overhead. And then just a side reach here. Just see if you can let that arm rest on the floor behind you. And let go of the jaw, let go of the rib cage, let go of the upper neck. Good. And then bring the arm back to that T position. Let the head come back to center. Lift your top knee, lift your bottom knee. Perfect. And then fix your back from being in an arch. Lift your hips, flatten out the spine. Draw the right knee to your belly and then your left knee into your belly. So you're hugging the knees in towards the chest and walk the arms around until you wrap the hands and link them. And then just gently, softly move the knees side to side to release the lower back just above the tailbone. Good, and if it feels all right, stop the knees and see if you can lift the head, but use your tummy muscle. So flex your tummy, then lift up your head and create the smallest tiny ball you can. Hold the chin towards your chest. Lengthen the back of the neck, lift, 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 and then gently lower your head back down to the ground. Keep your right knee into your chest and extend the left leg. Keeping the foot flexed, press through the heel of the straight leg and keep pulling the top knee into the belly and or now towards your underarm. Maybe you can open up the hip a little bit more and feel the stretch through the front of the opposite hip. Let go of your neck. All right, let's take that knee across the body. So using your opposite hand across the knee, inhale first and exhale, pull that knee across and see if you can roll right over onto that side. So you may need to wiggle the bottom foot over so you can roll right on top of that hip. So now the hips are stacked as much as possible. Now let's just start to walk our shoulders towards the bent knee on top so that we can settle the opposite shoulder down to the ground and see if you can look over that arm. Extend the fingers, extend the arm, activate the top part of the body, and then activate the leg that's straight below. So get a really nice twist and a wringing out of the spine, the abdominals. On our next inhale, start to bring everything back to center. I got lots of cracks in my back. That's a good thing. Good. All right, release that leg slowly. Just let it be. Refix your hips so you're laying square on the mat in a mini star position. Take a big belly breath, inhale, and then exhale, sigh. A lot of the lymphatic fluid gets stuck in the belly, so you want to breathe it out. And exhale. All right, on your next inhale, bring the opposite knee into your chest. Give it a big hug. Keep the opposite leg straight. Press the heel away from you. Pull that knee into your belly and or start to pull it towards your underarm. See where it settles in. Both ankles are flexed, toes towards the shins. Press the shoulders back and down. Open up the jaw, open up the back. Perfect. Let's bring that hand across the knee, the opposite hand, and let's start to pull that knee across the body. Pick up the hips, move your hips to the side a little bit so you can roll right over on that hip. Stack the bottom underneath the top. That leg will go all the way across, and notice the opposite shoulder coming off the ground. Walk towards the bent knee and see if that shoulder will settle down to the floor, and then look over to the arm that's extended and soften. Let the top hand manipulate the stretch by pulling the knee across. Activate. Take a little breath, even though you can't breathe deeply. The diaphragm is being squeezed. Letting go any remnants that's stuck in that belly, stuck in the lungs, stuck in the diaphragm, in the spine. That doesn't let us move very easily throughout the day. All right, we're going to slowly come back to center. Head comes up first. Start to roll back to your back and release that leg. Perfect. All right. Shake out everything. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, wave your feet, move the head. Start to wake up all the nerves that just got unstuck. Arms over your head like a good morning stretch. Point your toes. Big stretch. Breathe in and then exhale, let it all go. One more time. Inhale, stretch. And exhale, let it all go. Perfect. Draw your right knee into your chest, then your left knee into your chest so we can grab onto the back of our knees and gently rock and roll up to seated position. Be careful with your neck. Now try not to drag it. Good. Now we're going to go to the wall. We're going to do the legs up the wall. We're going to swing our hips around, come towards the wall. Then I like to lie in fetal position with my bum right up against the wall. Lie right on your side, get slightly comfy here. Then kick up your top foot and kick up your bottom foot so that both legs are now up the wall and your tailbone is touching the wall. So you're going to settle in there. Let's hang out here for about 5 minutes. So we're going to drain the lymphatic system from our feet right down into the hips, and then from the hips into the belly, and then the body knows what to do with it. And it will send fresh lymph back up the legs. So just settle in here. And while you're laying here, just take some 3-point breaths. So you're going to go to the point in your belly. Take a breath into your belly, expand the belly as much as you can, and then exhale, the belly soften. Move into your ribs, breathe into your rib cage, expand the rib cage as much as you can, and then just exhale, soften. Move up into your chest. Breathe right into your chest, up into your neck. And soften. Okay, so while we're here, just let the legs be. Then take your hands. You're just going to reach your hands up over your head, but draw them up towards the top of the head, trying to keep connection with the ground the whole time. See if the back of the arms, back of the hands can stay connected to the floor. And once they're up there, start to move them back down into the T position. Keep moving them nice and slow 3 times. The legs on top, keep flexing at the ankle, toes towards your shins. Push up through your heels. So this gives you a supported stretch through your back, through your hamstrings. Takes the weight off the body, off the joints. 5 minutes of this equates to about a half-hour nap. Good. I'm just going through my third range here. Call them snow angels. So imagine you're making a snow angel on the ground. Good. And then just settle when you're done. Wiggle your fingers around. You might start to feel some tingling in your fingers, maybe some tingling in your toes or your feet. Now we'll start to point the toes and then go back to flexion. So just moving at whatever pace feels good to you. Point the toes a lot up the wall. Feel how you activate the front of your legs into your calves. And then flex the ankles, toes towards the shins. Feel a real stretch down the back of the legs. Feel the activation of your belly muscles to do that. Now point a lot. And start to flex the ankles. Bring the toes towards the shins a lot. One more time. Pointing. Just notice if you're starting to hold your breath because you're thinking so hard about your ankles and flexing and pointing. That's how much we hold our breath when we're walking around on our feet all day. You have to move the breath. All right. And then just soften everything. Just notice how much you were tightening perhaps your spine, your lower belly to do that, maybe even right into the shoulders, the chest, and the jaw. All right, so we're just gonna take our right leg and we're gonna let that right leg drop down and open like you're opening one side of a book. And just keep the foot and the heel connected to the wall. And just let that top leg stretch up the wall. So lift the leg that's on the wall and straight right up, lift through the hip and the groin. And then let the opposite leg go a little bit further. Let it trust you, drop it right open. Maybe it'll reach the floor completely and settle down on the floor. And just be. We'll stay here for another 3 counts. Just counting 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Now let's just gently bring that leg up. And if it's hard to lift it up, use your hand to support the leg as you bring it back up, straight up the wall. Take a breath and start to open on your second side. So let that foot open right up, down the wall, down the wall, down the wall, to wherever it feels safe. Try to keep connection to the floor on both sides of your hips. The leg that's up the wall may start to lift off the floor, so you really want to ground through that hip point. And just see if that opposite leg will soften and perhaps reach the floor, just noticing how one side might go all the way down and the other side won't. Not a judgment, just an observation. Stay there for 3, 2, and 1. Let's bring that leg back up the wall, using your hand to support that or not. Good. So just pedal out your knees here, just lifting a knee off the wall and straightening the other, and lifting the other knee off the wall and straightening the other, just pedaling through the knees. Notice how you're shifting your pelvis to do this. This is really healthy for the lower back, keeping that mobility in the lower spine. Perfect. And just settle. Let's see if we can open both legs out to the side. So as you start to reach those feet down towards the floor, find where the legs feel safe to stay expanded, and hold. So just identifying with where the leg went, the first leg and the second leg went. Perhaps you're not able to go as far when you're opening both legs. That just lets you know that you make some adjustments in one side to the other when you're not working with balance or or evenly with both legs. You're just identifying that one is always compensating for the other. It's very important to do two sides here. Let's see if we can shimmy those legs just a little further. Maybe even use your hands to open those legs up a little more. You can even put the hands on the insides of the knees and really try to break open the legs just even a millimeter more, which is not a lot. Stay there for 3 breaths. 1, 2, 3. All right, we're going to bend the legs a lot. Use your hands to bring them back up or just draw them back up the wall. We just don't want to disrupt the stretch that we just did. Once you're there, let's bring the feet to the wall by bending the knees a lot. So the knees are coming towards the chest, like when we were hugging the knees. Now we're going to start to use a hip lift or a hip bridge here. You're going to start to peel the tailbone off the ground, lift the hips as much or little as feels comfortable, and hold it there. Then when we lower back down, lower the top vertebrae down to the lower very slowly, giving a really nice massage to the spine. And just start to move that up and down 3 times. Any pace is perfect, whatever feels good. If it feels good to hang out in the top range for a little bit, hang out in the top range, or just continue to move by lifting the hips up slowly and down slowly. Just being careful not to drop the hips too quickly. I don't want to disrupt the energy within the whole body. I'm just going into my 3rd lift here. And on my final lift, I'm just going to stay up there. So if you can join me up the wall and squeeze your glutes now, activate your glutes. Notice how much pressure is going into the shoulder. Try to activate the glutes and keep the pressure in the shoulder evenly. Perfect. Let's start to lower very slowly, 5 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and settle. Good. Let's just pull the knees into the chest for a moment. Maybe you want to cross your feet like you're tying a bow with your ankles. And take a breath through the chest. Use the legs to press on the belly to give you a nice deep exhale. And then we're going to bring our legs back up the wall, but just keep the knees soft so that we can create a figure 4 with our legs. So you're going to draw the right knee across the front of the left thigh. And then you're just going to move the leg that's on the wall in any way that you need to in order to be able to lift those hips up just a little. And then pull that heel down towards the middle of the thigh as much as you can. And then settle the hips back down and get a nice deep stretch into the crossed leg. Beautiful. So just let this stretch happen. The glute and the hip joint are the largest muscles and joint in the body. So we want to just let them settle. They're going to resist. They always will. The body needs to know it could be you trusting you and letting it go and not tightening up all the time. All right, take a breath here. Inhale, nice deep breath. And a big sigh, let it go. All right, so we're just gonna lift the hips as much as we need to unravel this crossover. And then just let the legs do whatever they want to here. Maybe the knees wanna open. Maybe you wanna rock the knees side to side. Maybe we just disrupted something in the spine, in the back, running up into the shoulders, just noticing. All right, let's prepare for the second side. So we're gonna cross the left leg over the right knee, a little bit higher up. Good, and then when you're ready, lift those hips so that you can slide that foot down towards the middle of the front of the thigh, and then settle the thigh or the hips down anywhere that feels somewhat comfortable in my hand. Now you may notice one side is a little tighter than the other side. This is my left side. My left side tends to be tighter than my right. Or my coordination isn't as good on my left side. It's not my dominant side. Take that nice deep breath and that sigh to let go any anxiety that just started to happen within the hip. or even in the spine or the shoulders and the neck. Good. Lift the hips a little bit or a lot to unravel that leg. Beautiful. And just finally climb those legs back up the wall. Arms out in T position. We'll just hang out here for another half a minute. Completely letting any tension drain back out of the body. Tension heightens that lymph. The lymph collects all the toxins and the bacteria in the blood. It just sits below the skin, above the muscle. You think of an orange. It's not the body of the orange. It's that white, grainy material. I don't know what it's called, but just below the skin. So that's your lymph. Sometimes you peel that off before eating an orange because it doesn't taste too good. So we're sort of letting that peel off of the body. Now just wiggle your toes a lot, maybe move your ankles a lot. I'm hearing lots of cracks in my feet, which is a good thing. Beautiful. There's no weight bearing on those toes or those ankles or those feet or your legs. They're going to feel light and airy. Good. Now, when you're ready, we're just going to roll back to the fetal position where we began. So take your time, bending the knees, slowly rolling over onto that side and just hanging out in that side fetal position. Just for a little bit, just settle. So we'll just lie in this fetal position for about 10 more seconds. And when you're ready, we're going to use the top hand to help us lift our head, lift our shoulders, lift our whole body so that we can come into all fours and crawl over to our mat. Good. All right, just to let go of anything just collected in the low back. It's really nice to go into a child's pose here and just rock the hips out a little bit from side to side. Gently swaying through the hips. Very nice. Okay, coming back up into a tabletop position. Draw your hands down to your shoulders, push up, using your hands like a push-up. So you're in that tabletop position. And then we're just going to go onto our bellies. And then you can put your hands under your temples, stacking the hands. So my forehead is on the backs of my hands. And I'm going to draw my left knee up towards my left side. And notice if you squeezed your right glute to do that. Okay, if you did. Activate this stretch. You're just going to press that left hip down. So you're squeezing the glutes to slide the left knee away from you just a little bit. It's a very gentle groin stretch. We'll go into a deeper one in just a sec. Release that contraction in your glutes. Slide the leg back down. Change sides. Right knee comes up. Notice that you squeeze the glutes. Relax. And then press that hip down on the right side. So the only thing moving this is truly your mind, right? So your mind is telling your body what to do. So when we release, we actually relax our mind. When we contract, we turn it back on. So it's important to relax at least once a week, if not every morning for meditation. Let's slide that leg back down so our legs are straight. Release the temples from the backside of your hands. Slide your hands down back to that push-up position. Come into all fours, into a tabletop position. Good. And then what we're going to do is we're going to walk our knees out. This is the butterfly pose. Think of a goalie in a net. So you're going to slide those knees out, that you're going to slide your feet out. So my heels are nice and wide. And I'm going to rock back with my hips. And then I'm going to come forward a lot with my hips. Feel the inner thighs getting a nice stretch from the weight of your body and or the pull of the body. Good. You're getting right into that low back, like cracking open a chicken. Good. I'm going to do that one more time. Then I'm going to find where on my body needs to hang out for about 5 counts. Okay. So for me, I feel like I need it back in the back range. I can feel a real drop in my hips. I'm going to hold it there. 3, 2, and 1. I'm going to slide forward slowly so that stretch does not go away. Walk your hands in a lot. Bring your toes in a lot. Then you're going to pick yourself up with your hands, draw your knees in, and settle. Perfect. Okay, so we're just going to go back to our backside, and you can enter into your meditation pose. So maybe you like that bolster under your knees, or a pillow, or a rolled blanket, so that your knees can drape over the bolster. You're going to settle back down. Now, if you have a blanket, this is a great time to add a blanket. And we're just going to lie here for a couple minutes. And just settle. So there's nothing like this for the body. The body goes into a cocoon mode. So we come out like pretty butterflies. If you have glasses on, you might want to take your glasses off, just set them to the side. And if you can imagine working your breath right from your toes, up through the ankles, up through the shins, the knees, the thighs, the hips, try to bring the breath in through the whole body. And sometimes you do that just by tensing your body, even making a fist in your hands and your palms, maybe clenching your butt cheeks. And then when you're ready to release that, you just let go. You may want to do that 1 or 2 times just to keep your attention in the meditation, so your mind isn't wandering to where you gotta go, what you need to do. Just let your body settle. We're here for about another minute, and then we're all done. Just give your body the gift of rest right now. Just a moment. Remember how much we used our mind while we were stretching. Try to shut off the body so that the mind actually gets a chance to shut off. So meditation isn't always laying here in a corpse's pose or cocooning up. It can be walking in the forest. It can be gardening. My daughter just told me the other day she wasn't in a great mood and went out and worked in the garden for a little while and lifted her right back up. Sometimes just getting your hands in the dirt, breathing fresh air, or just doing something that gives you pleasure is medicine. And that's really another word for meditation. It's a vitamin N, vitamin nature, vitamin M, vitamin meditation. We're so quick to take supplements. We're so quick to take alternative medicine, as in prescribed or over the counter. Sometimes we just need to fill ourselves up with some happiness meditation. Thinking happy thoughts, not always easy, but maybe a happy activity. Something for you. All right, so I'm going to leave you in this meditative state. You can come up from it whenever you're ready. There's no rush, but whenever you come out of this cocoon position, you should move nice and slow. I'm not trying to shit on you, but definitely coming out of that meditative state as slow as you entered it is super important. Just as if you were out gardening or going for a walk, you would come back slowly. And then you will find yourself a little bit more lifted. So I'll leave you with that. Have a good day.